Hey guys, sorry if the lighting looks different. It's because I do not have my studio softbox lights on because it's getting toasty today and I just prefer not to. But hi, I am processing a main channel video right now, so I thought I'd take a minute and do a quick little book review because I mentioned Catch-22 in a main channel video the other day and somebody commented, can't wait to see the book review. And I'm like, did I not do a book review? I completely forgot. I think I was just so scarred by my experience reviewing I'm glad my mom died or whatever. Because apparently that Nickelodeon star has got some stands. Because they came at me. They were like, how dare you like child abuse? And it's like, dude, I just didn't like the book. I'm sorry. And it's really funny because, you know, this alt channel it's just for fun. We do fun videos here. We don't think about it too much. Off the cuff and just giving my impressions on books I like or don't like. And the other thing is with so it's funny because related to that, you know, I mentioned Catch-22 in that other video and I said that it was surprisingly great, and that like pissed off some people. And they were like, how dare you say you were surprised by how great it was? So I thought for this video, I would elaborate on that a little bit because, you know, so in high school, they had just introduced AP English. So I was in that class. I was an overachiever. I was like at the bottom of the overachievers though. I slacked off a lot. But anyway, we had a really good English teacher, who was my teacher several times throughout high school. And because of her, like she assigned us a lot of interesting books that I think weren't on the normal high school reading list. Like one I distinctly remember is Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. She gave us a really, what I think of as a more diverse reading list. And so I missed out on a number of classics that a lot of kids read in high school. And Catch-22 is one of those books that I throw into that category. And a lot of high school reading list books I have gone back and read as an adult, and some of them are good. Some of them would have been good for a teenage audience, and some of them I just don't think are all that great personally, you know? And I also, you know, a couple years back, I decided to go through and read a load of science fiction classics, and I hated so many of them. Like, really, if you're interested, go read my Goodreads from back then. You know, stuff like Ender's Game. What an absolute pile of garbage. So yeah, when I read something that is considered a classic and I like it, I'm pleasantly surprised, as I was for Catch-22. So I didn't really know what to expect for Catch-22. I knew that I have never seen the movie either. Although I need to, just learned Alan Arkin passed away. I love him, and I guess he was in Catch-22. So that's going on my movies list. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I listened to it, which is why I don't have a copy of the book to show you. Whatever version is on Audible, I found very well done. The narrator was great. I'm using my phone to record this, so I can't look up who that is, but I do recommend if you like audiobooks, this is a great one, especially because great narration and the story is very easy to follow, even though it's not all in. It doesn't follow a beginning to end kind of narrative. It's out of order chronologically. Sorry. And by the way, to whoever comments every single time on these videos that I'm high, I'm not high. This is just how I am when I'm not speaking formally with a script. Like, I don't know if that's some weird kink you have, but get over it. My God. Anyway, sorry. I just it happens like every time and I roll my eyes so hard. So, it's not chronological, but it's still very easy to follow. That's an issue with me sometimes with audiobooks. It has to be very easy for me to follow because you can't just flip your page back and reread if you didn't get something. So, and very funny, extremely funny. I loved it. If you're not familiar, it's a story. It's an anti-war story set during World War II. Catch-22, as I mentioned in the main channel video, the Catch-22 comes up several times. This is the book that coined the term. The original meaning given in the book, although it does come to represent a number of different circumstances, but the first and most important to the plot version is a pilot doesn't have to fly more missions if they are crazy, but they have to request a psychological overview in order to be diagnosed as too crazy to fly. But by requesting that, them not wanting to fly proves that they're sane, because only a crazy person would want to fly more missions. Therefore, Catch-22, you can't get out of flying. It's the story that it mostly follows. Yossarian is the main character, but there are a lot of side characters that it delves into, and all of them are pretty fully realized and interesting in their own respect. I find it most interesting when anti-war books. I'm not going to get too much into the plot. Like it's very funny and tragic and heartbreaking, because it's a war book. So of course it's going to have that aspect. But I thought it had a really great combination of the two. Oh, and for those who are watching this, the fans of Jeanette McCurdy, who balked at my thinking that the book would have comedy because on the cover it says hilarious. And it's like, how can you make such a horrible thing funny? Go ahead and read Catch-22. It's a great example of how to combine humor with horror, and tragedy. So, I always find it interesting. I love an anti-war book in general, but I particularly like an anti-war book that is set during World War II, because World War II was, in a lot of ways, it's a good war. We had a really good reason to fight Nazi Germany. They really were an enemy that required countries to band together and go to war against them, as opposed to pretty much every other war. I know some of you are like ready with the comments about some war that had good justification, but I particularly enjoy anti-war books that are about World War II, because even when a war is justified, there are so many aspects of it that are deeply problematic and heartbreaking. And, I think it's easy to make an anti-war piece about the Korean War, for instance. I just rewatched Robert Altman's MASH after reading Catch-22 because a lot of it was very reminiscent for me. And, you know, so I think it's easy to make an anti-war work of art about an unjustifiable war. I think it's a lot more difficult and it's more interesting when it's about a war that was justified in a lot of ways. So, 5 stars, 5 out of 5. Catch-22, highly recommended. And yes, the movie is now on my ever-growing list of adaptations to watch now that I've finally gotten around to reading the book. And no, I haven't knocked any of the others off my list yet. Knock at the Cabin Door and Solaris. So, yeah, I will, as with the others, when I get around to watching it, I will give you a review of it. So, all right, video's finished processing. I'm going to get this done. I'll talk to you guys later.